Chidi Anegane from The Good Place is a deeply intellectual, kind-hearted, and chronically anxious ethics professor whose defining traits are his perfectionism and his indecision.
Pretty good at turning every place I go into my personal hell.
He's driven by an intense desire to do the right thing, rooted in his love for moral philosophy, but his overthinking and fear of making mistakes often paralyze him, whether he's choosing a muffin or wrestling a cosmic ethical dilemmas.
I am absolutely paralyzed by decision making, and it is destroying my life.
Chidi's anxiety manifests as a relentless stream of what-ifs.
I have this problem, and if I choose option A, but if I choose option B, oh no.
Paired with a physical tension and self-doubt, while his perfectionism stems from a need to avoid disappointing others.
This broke me. The dot over the I. That broke me. I'm done.
He's empathetic, loyal, and genuinely wants to help those around him, often serving as the moral compass for his friends. His humor comes from his earnestness and his absurdity detailed thought process. Like writing his 3,600-page ethics book.
I am 100 pages into my new thesis, and it is some of the best writing that I have ever done. I haven't been this happy since... Oh, wow. I've never been happy. Ha! Bad!
And his growth lies in slowly learning to accept imperfection. If you've seen The Good Place, you know Chidi's an ethics professor, and who's basically a poster child for anxiety and perfectionism. His brain is like a philosophy seminar on overdrive. His struggles of overthinking and needing to be perfect can be super relatable, can't it? Hey everyone, welcome back to Therapy Scenes. My name is John Cordray and I'm a licensed professional counselor. And in Therapy Scenes, I talk about TV shows and movies, particular scenes, and bring out the mental health themes of those. And it's a mix of education and entertainment all mixed together. And it's a lot of fun. So stick around, enjoy my synopsis of Chidi Anagone from The Good Place. Okay, let's start with Chidi's perfectionism.
Do you want to use a dry erase board or the regular pen and paper? Just pick.
Chidi lives for doing the right thing. But it's like he's terrified of even the tiniest mistakes. We see a flashback to young Chidi.
Come on, Chidi, pick someone. Don't pressure me, Uzo. I have to consider all the factors.
This is such a perfect example of where his perfectionism started.
Should I pick a girl as a gesture towards women's equality? Or is that pandering? Or do I think it's pandering because of my limited male point of view? I'm vexed, Uzo, vexed. You're always vexed.
Young Chidi with his giant lecture. He's what, like 8? So, all right, as a therapist, this screams early perfectionism. This is where it starts for Chidi when he was young. Somewhere in his life, his little brain, he felt like he needed to be perfect. And making a mistake is a huge, huge error on his character.
Here's the thing about me. You know the sound that a fork makes in the garbage disposal? That's the sound that my brain makes. All the time.
It started when he was young, and it just continued to develop as he became an adult.
It's just this constant grinding about things that I'm afraid of, or things that I want, or want to want.
Chidi's not just trying to be good, he's trying to be flawless. And that is where Chidi's anxiety comes from, because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but if you strive to be perfect and you overthink every little thing, it's going to drive you to be paralyzed.
Or want to.
There's a grinding in there right now, bud.
Yep.
It comes from a deep fear of disappointing others, which we call people-pleasing in therapy. It comes from this innate need to always wanting to be right, because being wrong is a detriment. It's a slight against their character. People like Chidi who struggle with having to be perfect, they don't want to show others. They don't want others to see that they're not perfect. They won't want to admit it. They're scared to let others see them for who they really are. And it's that fear that drives them to that perfectionism that they'll never reach.
This is your ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the center of decision making.
That's that continual cycle of having to be perfect, but you're not perfect. And so you keep doing it. You keep thinking and overthinking and thinking, and you're on this hamster wheel, and it paralyzes you. And that's what's happening to Chidi.
Do you see how it's all lit up? That's a flurry of activity that occurred when I asked you to choose between red and blue, and you almost passed out.
Is it too late to pick blue instead?
He's internalized this idea that there is a perfect choice. You just got to find it. And if he misses it, he's a failure.
What are you reading?
The Metaphysics of Morals by Immanuel Kant. It's a treatise on the aesthetic preconditions of the mind's receptivity to duty.
It's a book on how to act good.
So season 2, he's obsessing over Kant.
Is there a moral imperative to help you? Do I have a greater obligation to my community? Are you taking someone else's spot?
Yep, there he is. He's going on about moral absolutes. This is classic. Perfectionism is not about ego. It's about avoiding the guilt. For Chidi, every decision feels like a moral test.
How do you choose who I should be with?
Oh, I don't choose. You do, Chidi.
What?
And he has to pass it with an A every single time.
According to the system, either Pedro or Chidi could be matched perfectly with either Angelique or Pavita. So, figure it out. Should be fun.
Oh, Chidi. All right, so let's talk about Chidi's anxiety here. The man's brain is like the what if machine. He's the poster child for what if.
Morning, Chidi. Blueberry muffin for you?
I don't know. Maybe. I can't decide.
You all right there, mate?
Totally paralyzed over picking a muffin. Let's check it out. Let's take a look.
I've made my decision. I want to start crying.
It's a muffin. Just choose one.
Oh!
Oh, Chidi, buddy. He's standing there, he's sweating, he's muttering about blueberry versus brand. This is textbook anxiety, specifically something that's called decisional paralysis. He's paralyzed. He doesn't want to make the wrong choice, so he doesn't make any choice. And he doesn't know what choice to make because he's afraid of failing. And he doesn't want to fail because that looks like he is imperfect. You know, ironically here, nobody is perfect. Chidi is not perfect. And I think deep down he knows that, but the fear is not letting others see his imperfectionism.
No more thinking, Chidi. Just do something. Indecision caused you so much agony in your life.
He doesn't want other people to see the real struggles that's going on in him. So he feels like he has to make the right choice all the time. And that's exhausting. If you're a chronic overthinker and a perfectionistic person, it's that struggle where you'll never obtain perfectionism. And there's that underlining theme of, I can't make the wrong choice here. I've got to figure this out or else. And it's that or else that drives the anxiety. It rises the stress, and it really highlights the fear that you're avoiding.
God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
His brain is catastrophizing. Does that sound familiar? Do you struggle with catastrophizing? Turning a muffin into a moral crisis. Like, well, what if you picked the wrong one? What if it's bad for my health? What if that? What if this? Well, maybe this is better. Maybe that's better.
If you can't make a choice, this whole neighborhood could fall apart.
That's that paralysis, and he can't choose. In therapy, we call this overgeneralization. He's blowing a small choice way out of proportion. Let's watch another one here from season 1, where he's freaking out about lying for Eleanor.
Okay, dude, crash course in getting away with bad stuff. You have to act calm and cool, like you don't have a care in the world. We have fun, don't we, Chidi?
I've never been more stressed out in my entire life.
That's the physical sign of anxiety. It's tension, it's racing thoughts, it's your heart racing, you're sweating, you don't know what to do. You might even feel a little faint. Chidi is not just anxious here. He's stuck in a loop of trying to be perfect with every outcome. Sound familiar?
Chidi? Cheatster. What's happening, buddy? You have a crazy look in your eye, and you're retreating into your shirt. You're kind of turtling.
All right, so here's where it gets really interesting. Chidi's anxiety and perfectionism aren't separate. They're like a toxic best duo. They go together like oil and water. So let's watch this clip where he's working on a massive ethics book.
This took me 2 weeks to get through. I mean, it's so convoluted. I just kept reading the same paragraph over and over again, trying to figure out what the heck you were saying.
His perfectionism pushes him to write the ultimate ethics book. But his anxiety said, what if I did it wrong? What if you're a fraud? So he never finishes it.
Let's throw that monstrosity in the trash and start over.
He doesn't complete it. He avoids it because he doesn't want to be wrong. He doesn't want to make a mistake.
Aren't there maybe some parts worth salvaging?
Honestly, man, I don't even know. I mean, that thing is unreadable.
And that's what happens. Avoidance can happen when you are so afraid of something, you don't want the outcome. And so you delay it as if it's going to be okay and you'll avoid it. But the problem is you never really can avoid your problems. It's going to come out at some point, at some time.
I literally learned what headaches were because that thing gave me a headache.
Okay.
This is a classic feedback loop where perfectionism sets an impossible standard and the anxiety pushes him for not meeting it. And in therapy, we would work on breaking the cycle of challenging the all or nothing thinking, the black and white thinking. We work on the thoughts that influence how he feels, which then influences how he behaves. And we want to break that cycle and create what I call disruptors. And to disrupt the overthinking, the catastrophizing, or making assumptions, or the what ifs, we want to disrupt that by focusing on the evidence, the facts, not what we think is true or the circumstantial evidence. And that's exactly what's driving Chidi here.
It is literally impossible to be your friend. You're incapable of making a single decision.
Look, I know I can be indecisive, but what's the harm in taking a few extra minutes to find the perfect...
His thinking of, what if I'm wrong? Or thinking that there's some other answer, a better answer. He's focusing on that rather than the evidence that's before him. And that creates that negative feedback loop. The anxious perfectionism, it's just never ending.
I hate lying. I always have. And this is going to eat me up inside forever. You might be able to shrug this off and forget about it, but I never will.
Here's another example in season 4 where he's spiraling over a tiny ethical dilemma.
What do we do? Panic, freak? I usually panic, but I am happy to freak.
Oh, Chidi. You're killing me, man. This is so funny. He's talking to himself in circles again. This loop is why he feels so stuck, as if it's something a lot of us deal with, but on a smaller scale. You ever get stuck in this loop where you talk to yourself and you convince yourself, or you talk yourself out of doing something, or you don't do it? Yep, that's Chidi. What can Chidi, and all of us for that matter, what can we do to work on our overthinking, our chronic neurotic overthinking, and the anxiety that's part of perfectionism and the fear that comes with that?
Yeah. I need to tell you a secret. I can't.
Look at that. Eleanor is actually talking about basic grounding techniques here. She's getting him to breathe. And this is huge. We need others in our life to help us, give us perspective and objective help. Like, just say, let's breathe. Learn to breathe. Learn to be grounded in the moment. Grounding techniques and breathing techniques are good emotional regulation strategies. Chidi's starting to learn that he doesn't have to solve everything alone all the time. So in therapy, I would help Chidi work on different grounding strategies like diaphragmatic breathing and active observation and meditation to be able to slow down his thinking and to focus on the evidence rather than focusing on the circumstantial evidence, to reframe those thoughts, to challenge those thoughts, to focus on the positive outcomes, what we know to be true, rather than what you think is true.
Hey, how are you doing?
Stomach's in knots, I'm stress grinding my teeth, and it feels like my soul is being suffocated, you know, just your standard paradise stuff.
Even techniques like making a decisional balance of pros and cons is a helpful tool and strategy to help with indecision and the fear of making the wrong choice. All right, let's watch one more scene here where he makes a small, confident choice.
I love you.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I love you. Do you love me?
Yeah, I do.
Well, then, you and I are on our way to Coolsville.
You seem oddly sure, which is unlike you.
Yes, Chidi! That's growth.
I like the confidence.
Well, when you have 1,000 different versions of yourself over multiple timelines fused and instantly placed into your consciousness, it gives you a real sense of clarity.
He's starting to accept that perfectionism isn't real. You cannot obtain perfectionism. And that is a big step. Self-awareness and understanding is a big step for people who struggle with chronic, anxious perfectionism, that neurotic overthinking. And if you're feeling stuck like Chidi is, try these small challenges. Make one decision today. One, just one, without overthinking it. It's like muscle memory. You have to keep working at it one step at a time. One thing each day. Challenge your overthinking. All right, folks. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. This was so much fun. Chidi has become one of my most favorite characters right now on TV. He's so much fun to watch. I know we laugh when Chidi does this, but it's also very relatable. So many people struggle with overthinking and anxiety and perfectionism, just like Chidi. It's a good reminder that one, we're not alone in the struggle, but two, there are things that you can do to challenge those thoughts, that you can overcome this overthinking and that paralysis that so often comes with feeling like you have to be perfect and making the right choice. And if you can relate to Chidi's overthinking, you're not alone at all. Therapy like mindfulness or even just talking to a friend can make a big difference. I would love to hear your thoughts about Chidi and The Good Place. There's a lot of different characters that we can look at here. Chidi is such a fun character to look at. And there are other characters we can look at too. So I would love to know your thoughts. Who do you want me to analyze next? Is it somebody else in The Good Place or maybe a different TV show or a movie? That's what Therapy Scenes is all about. We look at TV shows, we look at movies, and then we bring out the mental health in the characters or in the scenes and apply it to our everyday life. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel and give me a like and stay tuned for the next Therapy Scenes video. Take care, everybody.
You know, I thought I'd have a stomachache right now, but weirdly, I do.